Perhaps you felt it your entire life. A quiet restlessness, a persistent sense that you are different, that you don't belong to this world like everyone else does. While many find comfort in the chaos of the system, you've always seen it for what it truly is, a prison. The conversations that entertain others fail to stir even the slightest interest in your soul, and the paths they walk with apparent certainty have always felt hollow to you, void of meaning. You sense that there is something beyond what the human eye can see, and that feeling is not fantasy, it's revelation. The truth is, at your deepest essence, you are not entirely human. And if you carry on your hands the mark of the letter M or the crescent moon, that revelation becomes even clearer. These marks are not mere coincidences. They are spiritual seals, indicators of a higher calling, a mission that transcends the earthly plane. A calling linked to those who, in these final times, are being prepared for the spiritual rapture of the chosen ones. This video is not for everyone. Many won't understand a single word. Others will reject every sentence, still lulled to sleep by the illusion of the world. But if something within your spirit vibrates with these words, then keep going, because this is your moment to remember who you are and why you were sent here. Before continuing, do 3 things now to confirm your identity and activate your spiritual journey. Click the subscribe button, strengthen this mission by commenting, "I know who I am," and leave a like if you feel this message speaks directly to your soul. Doing this will allow this truth to reach other chosen ones who, like you, are quietly awakening around the world. And remember, if you are truly one of the chosen, you will watch until the end. Because the spirit of those called by God recognizes the truth without needing proof.
Chapter in You Were Never Fully Human.
Since childhood, you've carried a strange and silent certainty within you, the sense that there was something about you that made you different. While others easily adapted to the rules of the system, to the suffocating routines and societal conventions, there was always resistance within you. A kind of spiritual restlessness followed you wherever you went, as if your spirit already knew this world was never your true home. That feeling of not belonging wasn't your imagination. It was a dormant memory trying to awaken. Because you are not just flesh and blood, you are spirit, eternal essence clothed in matter. And no matter how many tried to convince you that you were just another face in the crowd, you always knew you were set apart for something greater. The world tried to silence you, shape you, force you to fit into narrow paths. But something deep within you never bowed. That force that kept you from giving in wasn't pride, nor rebellion. It was the echo of your origin. You were sent to Earth with a mission. And if you carry the letter M or the crescent moon on your hands, that mission is now being confirmed before your very eyes. These marks are not random. They are cosmic traces, signs that reveal a spiritual lineage unlike most, a direct connection to higher realms that the majority can't even begin to comprehend. Since ancient times, spiritual civilizations have recognized these symbols as seals upon those who came to break patterns, challenge the system, and awaken the sleeping to their own divine essence. If you've always felt your dreams were too big for the world around you, if your mind seems to dwell in dimensions others cannot reach, and if your spirit carries a calling you cannot ignore no matter how hard you try, then the truth is simple. You are not ordinary. You never were. And everything you've lived up to this point was only preparation for the time of awakening, the time when the chosen rise to fulfill the purpose for which they were sealed.
Chapter 02 You Never Belonged in This World, and that was always the proof.
From an early age, you felt that something was out of place. While everyone else seemed to find comfort in routine and conformity, you carried a restlessness you couldn't explain. The safe paths felt like prisons. Shallow conversations felt hollow. Crowded places made you feel alone. And what others called the ideal life always felt like a place of estrangement for you. But now you understand. You were never meant to belong to this world, because you weren't sent here to fit in. You came to awaken what is still asleep, to break structures, to walk on a different frequency. Your essence is that of a foreigner in a world obsessed with shaping everyone into the same mold, but you were not made of the same material. This difference that made you feel excluded, rejected, or misunderstood was never a flaw. It is your greatest confirmation. The feeling of not fitting in is a sign that your origin is higher. Your soul vibrates at a frequency that finds no reflection in the systems of this world, and that's because it comes from another dimension, where purpose is eternal and love is pure. That's why even when you try to adapt, something inside you resisted. When you tried to silence your voice to be accepted, it felt like betrayal. When you chose safe roads, your soul screamed in silence, because nothing small will ever satisfy a spirit that was born for the extraordinary. And if you carry spiritual marks on your hands, like the letter M or the crescent moon, this becomes even more undeniable. These marks are like keys that don't open ordinary doors. They unlock sacred destinies. And that's why the world never quite knew what to do with you. Because the world tries to neutralize everything it cannot control. But now is the time to stop trying to fit into spaces too narrow for the size of your soul. The time to dim your light is over. You were never meant for the margins. You were called to stand at the center of the divine mission being revealed in this generation.
Chapter 03. The resistance you face is proof of your light.
Have you ever wondered why, even when you've done nothing wrong, some people suddenly distance themselves without explanation? Why doors that once seemed open abruptly close? Or why, no matter how hard you try to be accepted, something always pushes you away? This is not coincidence, it's recognition. Yes, the world senses your presence before you even speak a word. Your vibration disturbs what remains asleep. Your subtle energy activates the consciousness of those who would rather stay in the dark. You don't make people uncomfortable because you're aggressive, you do it because you are light. And when light enters spaces dominated by shadows, it exposes what many would rather keep hidden. This is why you face looks of suspicion, inexplicable rejections, and even painful losses. Not because you failed, but because your mere existence transforms the atmosphere. And for many, that's frightening. You trigger unconscious responses. You bring wounds to the surface that others refuse to face. So, instinctively, they push you away. But make no mistake, the resistance you face is a direct response to your greatness. The world doesn't react to what is weak, it reacts to what threatens its systems of control. And you, with your presence, your truth, and your light, are a threat to the collective illusion that keeps people asleep. This isn't about being better, it's about being awake in a world that prefers to remain asleep. Those who live in the automatic patterns of material life don't know how to respond to someone guided by spirit. And that's why trying to be accepted means walking in opposition to your calling. You weren't chosen to be understood, you were set apart to fulfill a purpose. And it is within that purpose that your true strength is revealed, because those who carry a greater light will always face greater opposition. But it is precisely that opposition that refines your faith, sharpens your mission, and reveals the nobility of your spirit. If you've been facing resistance without reason, isolation without cause, or rejection even when you give nothing but love, understand this. It's a sign that your presence carries a power few can handle. One of the greatest mistakes a chosen one can make is trying to mold themselves to a system that was never built for them. Since childhood, you were trained to believe that you had to stay quiet to be loved, that you had to follow the rules to be accepted, that you needed to act, think, and even dream like everyone else. But even when you tried to follow that script, something inside of you cried out. It was your essence refusing to be silenced. Because the truth is, you were never born to conform, you were born to break patterns. The structure of the modern world was designed to keep souls asleep, trapped in empty routines, disconnected from their true essence. And every time a chosen one tries to dim their light to fit into spaces too small for them, the result is always the same: deep frustration and a powerful sense of inner betrayal. Maybe you've tried countless times to fit in. Maybe you stayed silent, buried your intuition, or suppressed your truth in the name of acceptance. But despite all your efforts, nothing ever truly worked. That's because you weren't born to follow the current, you were born to carve a new path. Here's the simple truth: those who share your origin will never ask you to change to be loved. The genuine ones will recognize your light not as something threatening, but as a reflection of the same truth pulsing within them. So stop seeking approval in places where your soul was never meant to dwell. Stop expecting understanding from a world that doesn't have the structure to decode your frequency. You were created to be a lighthouse, and lighthouses do not move. They stand firm, casting light to guide those still lost at sea. Your role was never to fit in. Your role has always been to lead.
Chapter 04: The Chosen One's Mission: Transforming the World with His Light.
When you finally understand that you were never meant to fit in, but to break patterns, you begin to see that your true mission extends far beyond yourself. The mission of the Chosen One is to transform the world with their light. It is to awaken those still trapped in illusion, and to open the doors so others can finally see the truth that has always been your essence. This responsibility is not limited to personal change. It is a divine calling to become an agent of renewal, a catalyst who challenges conventions and brings hope to a world that, at times, feels lost. Every step you take is a declaration of purpose, an act of faith that reverberates through the vibrational field and inspires change on levels far beyond your awareness. You weren't created merely to exist. You were sent to transform, to illuminate, to become the bridge between the invisible and the visible. When you align with this mission, your very presence becomes a beacon of authenticity, guiding those lost in the darkness of conformity and mediocrity. Your example encourages others to break free from the limitations imposed by this world, to reject the false safety of a system designed to keep them asleep. The transformation you carry is a journey of courage and self-knowledge. It demands that you release all that no longer serves and embrace, with an open heart, the vastness of your potential. As you free yourself from the grip of fear and conformity, you become an architect of the new, capable of rebuilding realities through the power of love and inner truth. The mission of the Chosen One is not an easy path. It requires resilience, perseverance, and unshakable trust in divine timing. But it is through this very path that you not only live, you flourish, turning every challenge into an opportunity to manifest your sacred purpose. Remember, every action, every word, and every thought you carry holds the potential to create ripples of change that stretch far beyond your own life. When you become aware of the power of your vibration, you realize that transforming the world begins by transforming yourself. The mission of the Chosen is, above all, a call to authenticity and self-mastery, an invitation to live so fully and so truthfully that the universe itself begins to realign in response to your light. This is your opportunity to become more than you ever imagined. It's not merely about reaching some ideal of love or success. It's about creating a new reality where your entire being becomes an inexhaustible source of inspiration and change. And when you embrace this mission with your whole self, the world around you ceases to be a place of limitation and becomes a space of infinite possibility, where every one of your gestures echoes with the power to transform destinies. From the moment you recognize who you are, you awaken to one of the greatest spiritual truths of existence. You are in this world, but you do not belong to it. This realization is not an escape from reality, it is a call to consciousness. It marks the beginning of a journey rooted in wisdom and discernment, where your greatest challenge will be to remain true to your essence, even when everything around you tries to collapse or reshape you. To live as a chosen one in a system that resists authenticity is both an act of courage and a deep exercise of faith. The first principle is to keep your consciousness elevated. In a world saturated with distractions, empty stimuli, and illusions carefully designed to keep the spirit asleep, the awakened must cultivate a state of inner vigilance. This means learning to pause, to observe, and to discern what truly belongs to you from what is merely external noise. Whenever you feel your energy grow heavy, your soul go silent, or your passion fade, ask yourself, what am I absorbing that does not belong to me? These small pauses, these moments of clarity, are portals for realignment with the eternal truth that lives within you. Protecting your energy is the second foundational principle. Many around you will live in confusion and chaos, and although it may seem noble to help everyone, not every battle is yours to fight. You have the sacred right to step back from what weakens you, to remain silent before what does not edify you, to say no without guilt, and to withdraw in order to preserve what is sacred within. This is not selfishness, it is spiritual survival. A chosen one who allows themselves to be drained by what is misaligned with their mission risks losing their connection to the divine source. So honor your energy as one would guard a temple, because that is exactly what you are, a living temple of the Creator's presence. Speaking with authority is another principle that must be reclaimed. Words shape realities. When you declare weakness, you live as weak. When you speak doubt, doubt will govern your path. But when you express your identity with faith, truth, and conviction, your energy expands and the universe responds. Learn to speak as someone who knows they carry a divine decree within. Let your voice echo what your spirit already knows, that you are a messenger from above, someone sent to earth to fulfill a purpose the world may not understand, but heaven surely applauds. Walking by faith is the principle that sustains all the others. The world will try to convince you that nothing is changing, that you are stuck, that you are alone. But faith teaches you to see beyond what the eyes can perceive. Even when everything appears stagnant, the spirit is moving, realigning, preparing. Transformation is already underway, even if you cannot yet feel it. And it is this walk by faith that sets the chosen apart from the rest. While others wait for external signs to believe, the chosen one believes before seeing, trusts before receiving, and vibrates as if the promise has already been fulfilled. Lastly, stay connected to the source. All strength, direction, protection, and wisdom flow from the relationship you maintain with the Creator. If you try to face everything on your own, sooner or later the weight of the path will catch up to you. But if you remain rooted in divine presence, nothing will be lacking. Challenges will arise, but you will not fall. Storms will come, but you will stand firm. For the one who is anchored to the source will never be shaken. This is not about religion, it is about communion. It is not about doctrine, it is about intimacy with the one who formed you and sent you. If you've made it this far, know this: it was never by chance. Every word, every revelation, every truth echoed in this message was a direct response to the silent cry of your spirit. You are not ordinary. You never were. And now, there is no more room for denial. The time of questioning your identity is over. The time of hiding out of fear of judgment has passed. Today marks a new beginning, the time to live as someone who knows exactly why they are here. You were called for more, to break patterns, to awaken consciousness, to be a living sign that there is a kingdom not of this world but one that manifests through lives like yours. The marks you carry, visible or invisible, are divine seals of an eternal covenant. And if you recognize them in your hands, your soul, or your journey, then do not doubt. You are already being prepared for spiritual ascension, to rise above the illusions of this world and fulfill your mission without hesitation. The world may keep trying to dim your light, but you were ignited by the very breath of God, and no darkness can extinguish a flame that was born of the eternal. So rise with courage, move with wisdom, guard your energy, walk with discernment, and speak with conviction the truth that lives within you. Because the entire universe already knows you do not belong to the crowd, you belong to heaven. And if this message spoke to you, if it touched something that ordinary words could never reach, then now is the time to mark this moment. Write in the comments, "I know who I am." That simple declaration will activate in your life the frequency of everything that has been revealed here. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, do it now. By doing so, you strengthen this mission and join thousands of other chosen ones who are awakening at this very moment. Remember, the chosen do not live to be understood. They live to fulfill a purpose. And yours has already begun. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep raising your consciousness and honoring your celestial origin.